What do you learn in basic plumbing? Let's talk about it.
I'm Kenny Molotov, licensed plumber, professional magician, and entertainer. On this channel, I go through the ins and outs of my career in plumbing. I take you through a day in the life and we talk tools, theory, and mindset. I'm trying to give you an arsenal of knowledge and an online resource so you can take this trade head on and find yourself successful on the other end. Click subscribe, hit that bell notification, and let's talk pipes.
Peeps, Kenny Molotov. Check out MolotovPlumbingAcademy.com so you can get courses that are specifically designed to help you succeed in your apprenticeship. Also, join our newsletter. That way you know when we got content coming out to you all, when new courses are being developed and coming your way, and also if any other products are coming your way as well. So I wanted to tackle this subject. A few of you have reached out and said, what did we learn in basic plumbing school? I want to kind of go over that, let you know what to expect and what you have in store for you, sort of thing. So basic plumbing was such an important time in my life because I learned so many different things about the trade that I had been in that I really didn't grasp anything at all at that point. So remember, I was starting off with my father in his plumbing company, and I was starting off in service. And a lot of times in service, everything that you're dealing with is usually behind a wall. So whenever you're snaking in a drain, that drain is behind the wall. Whenever you're dealing with other pipes, those pipes are behind the wall. So you can't really get a decent gist of what's happening because everything is covered up. In comparison to new construction where there are no walls, where pipes are everywhere and you get to see the plumbing system, the venting system, etc. So that was one of the difficulties going in. When I got to plumbing school enlightened me quite a bit. I also was very blessed to have a very exceptional plumbing teacher at that point and some really good peers to help me along the way as well. So the very first thing that you learn in plumbing school when you go into the theory side of plumbing is what is a sanitary system? What is a storm system? And then what is a venting system? Those are the three major topics that you are taught. Storm systems obviously are for precipitation. Sanitary systems, they're drains that discharge human waste. Venting systems are introduced into drainage systems so that we have functional drainage sort of thing. So these three different systems are introduced to you. We go into depth about them. And then after that, you are taught how to start sizing them. Because what's most important is there's an engineering behind plumbing, and that engineering is what we're taught here in Ontario and in all of Canada so that us as plumbers can go into plumbing systems and recreate them if we need them, or we can have people call us and say, I need you to build a custom home. And as plumbers, we have the privilege here in Canada to not have to go to an engineer. We can do the engineering ourselves for the plumbing system. Does that make sense? That's what we are taught in basic plumbing. We are taught those systems and then how to size them. And then we also are taught the different rules, right? Because what you have to remember is there's a bunch of different rules that allow us to move forward in plumbing. However, sometimes you are put in a situation where because of that situation, a new rule is introduced and it is more important, it takes precedence over all the previous rules that we were taught. And that's what we also are taught. We're taught how to figure out which rule takes precedence, which one is more important, which one has to go before everything else. One rule will cancel out all the other ones sort of thing. An example of this is that you can run a 3-inch drain for a toilet. However, if you have 3 toilets on the same line, once you introduce the third toilet, that 3-inch drain has to upsize to 4 because that third toilet changes the entire environment. It creates a new rule. And that rule is you have to upsize. So that's an example. If you ran 2 toilets, you can keep it at 3-inch as long as there's nothing else tying into it. But the moment you introduce a third one consecutively from that third toilet, as soon as it's introduced, everything goes to 4-inch minimum. Does that make sense? That's what you learn in the theory side of things, how to deal with these plumbing systems, how to size them, and then how to decide which rules take precedent. We are also taught how to draw plumbing systems. So we're taught a basic drain plan. A drain plan is when you look at drains from the top down. It's like a bird's eye view. And so you're going to just see what the drains are doing underneath the ground. And then we're taught stack elevations. Stack elevations is when you see the fixtures on each and every floor and that way you can size the stacks as well. And then the third thing we are taught is isometric drawings. Isometric drawings are like a 3D drawing. It allows you to be able to understand how far the distances are from each of the fixtures. So you can actually pinpoint on an isometric drawing how far away it's supposed to be from your toilet, or how far that fixture is supposed to be from your bathtub. So they're very specific. They're very hard to do, by the way. You're taught how to draw them, and there's a project on drawing them. They take a lot of time, but they're very cool at the same time because you get to look at a three-dimensional view of what that house is, right? So that's the theory side of everything. You're taught all of that, plus how to draw and how to read the drawings. The next thing you are taught is we go into a classroom for welding. There are very limited moments in our career where welding can take place. But the good thing is that we go into a welding class and we actually get to weld. We get to play with the metals. We get to weld the two materials together. So it's a lot of fun. The other thing that we learn in basic plumbing is we have a hoisting and rigging class. This is a class designated for us to understand crane operations. Every once in a while on a larger job site, we will have to deal with cranes, and there's a certain culture around cranes that you have to know so that you don't get in the way. That's the most important point of this class. It's that if you are ever dealing with a crane, you understand, first of all, that there are hand signals to be able to communicate with the crane operator. And second of all, you have to know enough so that you don't stand under the load, so that you understand why the crane operator is asking you to do things, that sort of thing. And the other thing that we learn is a safety class. The safety class basically goes through what kind of fire extinguishers we need to have on the job site, how many do we need per floor, also how to deal with shoring, how to deal with digging, how to deal with working at heights, like basic working at heights. You don't get any certificates in this class, but it's just for you to understand the stance of mind that you need to take whenever you're trying to be safe. And the other thing that we end up doing is we have a math class. And that's why I kind of ended up creating this plumbing math course, because going through that math class, I realized that myself and my peers, we had a lot of anxiety around the math issue. So we ended up sitting down quite a bit as a class and working it out amongst each other. And that's what ended up getting me to create the plumbing math course. I know that for a lot of us, when you hear all the previous subjects I just gave you without the math, you're excited. But for some of you out there, the moment you hear math, that there's a math class, it sparks some anxiety for some people because there are some gaps in the math knowledge that we need. So if you do need help with a math class, go down into the links below, check out my plumbing math course. It's not very expensive. It's a 10-hour class. It goes through every single math equation that you have to deal with in your apprenticeship, not just basic plumbing, but also intermediate and advanced. I go through everything and I take it step by step. I go slowly so that you can get it. And that is the gist of what you're going to learn overall in basic plumbing. It's all those different subjects. And if you pass all of that, then you go back to work for a period of time, and then you'll get another offer of classroom training, and you'll go do intermediate and then advanced sort of thing. Peeps, I hope this was useful to you. If you have any more questions about what we learn in plumbing school, like intermediate and advanced, let me know down in the comments below. I can make those videos for you as well. Do me a favor, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button down below and that bell notification so you know exactly when we're getting videos. Smash that thumbs up, share with friends, and I'll see you plumbers very soon. Kenny Molotov, guys. Peace, baby.